A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Azra Hassan.
A very good evening, I'm Joel Outsko, and we start off today with a look at the headlines.
UNP MPs attend another decisive meeting. Supplementary estimate of 29,174 million rupees presented in Parliament. State Land Special Provision Bill withdrawn in Parliament. Sri Lankan Airlines transaction brought before COPE. Company Board of Directors oppose private agencies' attempt to make the airlines a public-private partnership.
Now on to our lead story. Several factions of Sri Lankan Airlines are brought before the Committee on Public Enterprises or COPE today. Now Charlene Benedicts will join us for more details. Charlene?
Yes, now Sri Lankan Airlines is currently a loss-making institution. This was not always the case for Sri Lankan Airlines. Sri Lankan Airlines was initially a profit-making institution, but however, in the recent past, it has been recording massive losses that amount to in billions and billions of rupees. Now, against such a backdrop, the officials, the Board of Directors of Sri Lankan Airlines were summoned before the COPE committee today, and today, for the first time in history, the COPE committee, the hearings of the COPE committee were open to the media. Now, the Board of Directors of Sri Lankan Airlines, as well as the private-public partnership agency that is working towards building a private-public partnership for Sri Lankan Airlines, were also summoned before the COPE committee. Now, for the first time as well, a public institution, which is the Board of Directors of Sri Lankan Airlines, made a commitment before the COPE committee. They said that Sri Lankan Airlines can be developed into a profit-making institution, and they requested for 3 years to do it. Taking it a step further, the Board of Directors presented their plan to the COPE committee. Also, the Board of Directors requested the COPE committee for certain concessions. The Board of Directors requested for lower fuel costs. Now, the Board of Directors, it was their opinion that Sri Lanka has one of the highest fuel costs in the region, and that a reduction in these fuel costs could allow them to attract foreign airlines to come into the country for refueling purposes. Also, the Board of Directors requested for a reduction in the withholding tax. And thirdly, the Board of Directors requested for a reduction in the interest rates of the loans that have already been obtained from several banks by Sri Lankan Airlines. Now, it must be noted that these loans were taken at a very, very high interest rate, and therefore the Board of Directors had pointed out to COPE that all the income of Sri Lankan Airlines are mostly used to repay these loans and to repay these interest rates. But however, a reduction in these interest rates could allow the Board of Directors to invest some of their income in developing the airlines into a profit-making institution. Now, presenting facts before the COPE committee, the Private-Public Partnership Agency, Thilan Vijayasinghe of the Private-Public Partnership Agency, said that this plan will not work. Their suggestion is that external investors should be brought in to develop Sri Lankan Airlines. Their opinion was that external capital is required for the development of Sri Lankan Airlines. They also proposed that the Treasury should bear 50% of the loan repayment for the loans that have been taken already by Sri Lankan Airlines. Of course, COPE questioned Thilan Vijayasinghe and the Private-Public Partnership Agency on how much of investment is actually needed for Sri Lankan Airlines according to their plan. There was no answer. There was no plan. Then COPE questioned them on what their operational plan is for the development of Sri Lankan Airlines as a private-public partnership. Again, there was no answer. There was no plan. COPE committee then asked them the question as to when the Board of Directors of Sri Lankan Airlines have clearly presented their requests, they have presented their plan, and they have shown how they can actually develop Sri Lankan Airlines in the coming years to a profit-making institution. Why is the Public-Private Partnership Agency against it? Of course, there was no answer to this question as well. Then the chairman of COPE, Sunil Hadunhetti, took a stern stance on the matter and said that if Sri Lankan Airlines is to be developed as a private-public partnership, the operational plan, the plan that is presented by the Private-Public Partnership Agency, should be presented in Parliament through the COPE committee, and there should be parliamentary approval for this plan. It was also the opinion of Chairman of COPE, Sunil Netti, that it was arbitrary decisions such as these that resulted in the current state of affairs at Sri Lankan Airlines that has brought Sri Lankan Airlines down to such a level where it is recording losses in the billions. Of course, taking a look at the current situation of Sri Lankan Airlines, how are the facilities that are provided by Sri Lankan Airlines, and what are officials actually doing to develop the airlines? These footage were recorded recently inside an aircraft belonging to Sri Lankan Airlines.
Everyone put your hands together, let's clap along. Come on, show some energy.
Now, those are footage from a plane belonging to Sri Lankan Airlines that were recorded very recently, on the 16th of this month to be exact, in a flight chartered by certain individuals of a leading casino institution here in Sri Lanka. Now, these people chartered the flight at probably quite a low rate and were traveling in that flight. You did see how these people acted, and this is how certain officials at Sri Lankan Airlines are planning on developing Sri Lankan Airlines. Now, of course, these officials, who clearly have no sense of responsibility, should also be held responsible for bringing in cultural waste into this country. This flight was traveling between Colombo and Hyderabad, and it was chartered by, mostly the flight was chartered by a group belonging to a leading casino company here in Sri Lanka. Now, are these the methods that certain irresponsible individuals are planning on developing Sri Lankan Airlines? And this also could be cited as one of the reasons for some of these officials to push for a move forward for Sri Lankan Airlines without a plan, without a proper plan, based on arbitrary decisions alone. Are these factors that should be considered by COPE? The question is left to you. It's back to the main studios.
Well, thank you, Charlene, for that comprehensive update. Moving on to more news this evening. Now, another supplementary estimate of 29,174 million rupees was presented in Parliament today. 6,500 million rupees has been allocated to settle debt.
A provision of 30 million rupees has also been requested to recruit advisors. An additional provision of 21 million rupees has also been allocated to pay compensation to lands that were affected by the Meetotamulla garbage dump collapse. You have presented another supplementary estimate. They have allocated 30 million rupees to recruit advisors. Certain officers in Parliament pay 1.2 to 1.5 million for overtimes. You spend millions and billions of rupees for various things. So we urge the government that promises to provide water to farming community in the country to pay compensation. We are also concerned by the fact that the agriculture minister or a responsible minister has not responded.
Stay tuned. We'll be back after this short commercial break.
විශ්වාසයෙන් පරිස්සම් කරගත්තු ඇංක කිරි එදත් අදත් හෙටත් හොඳම දේ පමණයි.
Welcome back to the news. Deputy Speaker Ananda Kumarasiri informed Parliament today the Supreme Court dismissed 3 petitions challenging the private members' bill to abolish the death penalty.
The Supreme Court has dismissed these 3 petitions as it does not have the jurisdiction to determine whether a bill has been drafted in line with the Constitution. Meanwhile, the State Land Special Provisions Bill was withdrawn by the ruling party today. Honourable Deputy Speaker, our objective was to provide land deeds to all citizens in this country. The public can then use these land deeds and apply for mortgages and obtain loans. They can develop their lands. They can divide and sell a portion and earn an income. However, the opposition took this matter to courts and obstructed our attempts. When the government tried to provide land deeds, the opposition stood against us. Does the council approve the withdrawal of the bill? Aye. The opposition went to courts not due to the reason claimed by the leader of the house. Their ulterior motive is to alienate this country and divide it. This is why we took legal action, to act against their ulterior motives. Therefore, we agreed to their decision to withdraw this bill. This is a victory achieved by the opposition. We wanted to defeat the attempt to sell lands owned by the general public for agriculture to foreign entities. We are not against the provision of land deeds to the people. We will support any land law if it is amended in some manner that would not allow any foreigners to purchase land in our country. We challenge the government to do this.
Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Sajid Premadasa, attended a special meeting today.
Ajit P. Pereira, Nalin Bandara Jayamaha, Hector Apuhami, Chandrani Bandara, Hesha Vitanage, Talatatu Korala and SM Marika attended the meeting. 97 provincial councillors of the United National Party also attended the meeting. Attention was drawn towards issues faced by provincial councillors of the United National Party.
97 out of the 132 attended the meeting today. As the deputy leader of the party, he needed to talk to the provincial councillors of the party. It was not held in secret. Majority in the party and the majority of the people in this country and the parliament want Sajid Premadasa. We can agree to that. We don't think in a negative way. Sajid Premadasa can be selected as a presidential candidate from the UNP-led alliance. There is no secret here. Deputy leader of the party, Sajid Premadasa, convened all provincial councillors from the United National Party. I feel this is an important discussion. When there is an upcoming election in the country, I think he has performed his duty well as the deputy leader. And we also think that all councillors who were present here got the strength here today for the upcoming election. The fact that was unanimously decided was that Sajid Premadasa should be the next presidential candidate. I think it is clear to everyone. It is very shocking that there are people who can't understand this.
මන්ත්‍රීවරු බලද්දයක් අස්සම් කළා පාර්ලිමේන්තු කණ්ඩායම සහ කුත්‍යාධිකාර මණ්ඩලය ආවර කැඳවන්නගේ සතියක් ඇතුළත කැඳවන්න කියලා පිළිවම් බාර දුන්නා. තාම ඒක එහෙම වෙයිද? හැමදේම සුබවාදී වෙයි. කොහොට්ටුවේ මන්ත්‍රීතුමන්ලත් මාත් එක්ක එක්ක හොයනවා. පොදු අපේක්ෂකයා නම් කරන්න කොච්චර කාලයක්ද? ආම යෝජනා වෙලාවේදී හැමෝටම බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඉවසන්න.
I do not worry about individuals. I am only concerned about the problems of the country. I worry about the people. My only objective is to serve the people.
General Secretary of the United National Party, Minister Akila Viraj Karyawasam, spoke about the letter signed by 55 UMP MPs requesting the UMP Parliamentary Group and the Working Committee to be convened and come to a consensus on the presidential candidate of the United National Party.
He has already accepted it. The Prime Minister knows the constitution of the party very well. Although you are trying to portray a different picture on this, there is no issue like that. Even we could have signed that letter. Ranil Wickremesinghe is a very democratic leader. Our leader does not put on magic displays. Minister Akila Viraj Karyawasam did not place his signature in the letter that was signed by 1/3 of the UNP parliamentary group. Other UNP parliamentarians who did not sign this letter includes Lakshman Kiriyalla, Palitharange Bandara, J.C. Aluwatuwala, Navin Disanayaka, John Namratunga, Daya Gamage, Gamini Jayawikrama, Akila Viraj Karyawasam, Ravi Karunanayaka, Ajit Manna Peruma, Tilak Marapana, Sisira Kumara, Vadivel Suresh, D.M. Swaminathan, Vajirabe Vardhana, Vijay Kala Maheswaran, Jayampati Vikramaratna, Lakshman Vijaymanna, Ruan Vijay Vardhana, Sarath Fonseca and M.S. Taufik. Majority of the MPs who did not place their signatures in the letter are MPs who joined the UNP from other parties, and a majority of them have been alleged before the law. Allegations such as printing his face on school textbooks, the Suraksha insurance scam, voucher for school uniforms were levelled against Minister Akila Viraj Karyawasam during his tenure as the Minister of Education. Lakshman Kiriyalla joined the UNP from Chandrika Bandaranayaka's government. Through such acts, it is clear about the stance of the 79-year-old Minister John Amaratunga on the party getting into the hands of the youth. A court case has been filed against Minister Palitha Range Bandara for misusing a vehicle licence. Many allegations have been levelled against Minister Daya Gamage, who had connections with the Rajapaksa regime about misusing the Samurdhi Fund. The bond scam, floating power plants and purchasing power from private entities are just a few allegations levelled against Minister Ravi Karunanayaka. Tilak Marapana, who once resigned due to avant-garde transactions and came back to the parliament, has not signed this letter either. Vadivel Suresh is renowned for switching parties. Vajirabe Wardana has been accused of providing protection to wrongdoers during the previous government and accused by various parties of the avant-garde transactions. It is no secret that Jayampati Vikramaratne, who came to the UNP through the national list from an external party, had a hand in jeopardizing the amendment of the 19th Constitution. Even Sarath Fonseca, who contested the presidential election through UNP votes, who criticized the UNP while forming other parties and now back in the UNP, has neither signed this letter.
This is Ranil Wickremesinghe's 25th year as the leader of the United National Party. Under his leadership, during this time period, the UNP had lost close to 30 elections. Whenever the party leaders challenged his leadership that brought the party down, Ranil Wickremesinghe always attempted to evade it. When the party suffered a severe blow after Chandrika Kumaratunga took over 3 ministries under her purview, the party members emphasized the fact that Ranil Wickremesinghe should stand strong and display the strength of the party by taking these portfolios back. However, Ranil Wickremesinghe continued to demolish the party and weaken the UNP government at the time through the appointment of the committee headed by Mano Titavella and Malik Samaravikrama, to a point where the party entirely lost their governing power. A change in the party leadership was a constant demand of the party supporters and members in the face of these countless election defeats. Party members surrounded Sirikota on the 19th of December 2011, demanding for a change in the party leadership. As usual, Ranil Wickremesinghe ignored these demands and hid behind the various committees appointed for reforming the party, and also appointed a disciplinary committee to punish party members. Ranil Wickremesinghe finally got rid of the party members gathering opposite Sirikota by constructing a road opposite the premises through Mahinda Rajapaksa's Maganaguma project. In 2013, when the party was in a dire state, party members demanded for a change yet again, but once again, that fell on deaf ears, and Ranil Wickremesinghe did not hesitate to appoint another committee in the guise of a leadership council. The fact that even the members of that committee to date do not know the findings of the committee appointed 6 years ago is amusing, to say the least. Not even the members of the council had the faintest idea as to what happened inside the council. With the humiliating defeat at the last local government polls, the party members yet again voiced their opposition against Ranil Wickremesinghe and demanded that he steps down so that the party can embark on a winning journey. The leadership of Ranil Wickremesinghe was a pivotal reason behind the humiliating defeat of a long-standing party such as the UNP at the hands of the Podujana Peramuna that was formed less than a year before the election. When backbench MPs visited temple trees and urged Ranil Wickremesinghe to step down again, Prime Minister Wickremesinghe resorted to cover behind another committee. The backbench MPs were promised that the recommendations of the Ruan Vijayawardena committee, which was subsequently appointed, will be implemented. But history continued to repeat itself as the recommendations of the Ruwan Vijayawardena committee were also not implemented. We are now at the crossroads of yet another decisive stage. The final request of the party members is for a presidential candidate of the UNP to be announced, so that a candidate from the UNP, which is the oldest and largest political party of Sri Lanka, can take the office of president after this election. However, Ranil Wickremesinghe again resorted to his age-old tactics by attempting to form an alliance and appoint a leadership council. Against such a backdrop, one-third of the UNP parliamentary group had signed a letter demanding the party leadership to convene the decision-making bodies of the party and to make a decision on the presidential candidate. Will UNP party supporters allow Ranil Wickremesinghe to destroy the hopes of a new presidential candidate from the United National Party and continue to remain as the head of the party?
With that, we move on to a break. We'll be right back. Watching Primetime News, still in news, you're at home. Now steps have been taken island-wide to remove all banners and cutouts displaying the image of Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
We are currently in the process of removing all banners and cutouts that were set up before the SLPP convention. This program started yesterday and I believe all cutouts will be removed during the process. This will be done by the youth organisation.
Meanwhile, Namal Rajapaksa in a Twitter statement says the elections should be held in an environmentally friendly manner. Namal Rajapaksa also expressed his pleasure regarding the removal of cutouts and banners in Beliyatta, Ambalantota and Veeraketiya upon his request. Several MPs and provincial councillors of the Podujana Peramuna removed banners and cutouts in several areas today.
Presidential candidate of the Janatha Peramuna, Venerable Batramulle Silaratana Thero, expressed the following views at media briefing held in Colombo.
Our learned attorney Udaya Gammanpilla said that presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa needs security like from an American army. I urge the MP not to joke around. If you want to get privileges, go ahead. I'm the leader of the Janatha Peramuna. I'm the presidential candidate of that party. Don't we also need security then? Neither Maitri nor Ranil have given us security. We only have the security of the public now. If you are here to serve the public, the people will keep you safe. I have informed the commander of the security forces and the Secretary of Defence. Secretary of Defence still couldn't facilitate my request. I have requested security in writing, but they still haven't done that. This is the current political situation in the country.
President of the All Ceylon Bank Employees Union, Vasantha Samarasinghe, spoke about a proposed bill during a media briefing today.
They have already presented the bill to amend the People's Bank Act of number 29 of 1961. The purpose of this bill is to take away the security measures and pave the way to sell away the bank. People's Bank is doing this to increase the capital up to Rs 50 billion. The ownership of shares should be on the state and the cooperatives. The initial proposal of this act is to amend the clause that the ownership of capital for the state and for the cooperatives to be increased from 1 billion to 50 billion rupees by issuing debentures. The central bank has guidelines for this. The monetary board had the authority in this regard. People's Bank is taking over that power that the monetary board has. Therefore, the bank itself has power to issue shares to the share market. When that happens, People's Bank will come under banks, financial institutions, international financial institutions and private financial institutions. This will be taken up on the 22nd in Parliament. On the 5th, a vote will take place and then it will be approved in Parliament. We urge the public representatives to not vote for this.
The Gammatha Village Forums, which commenced yesterday, is currently taking place in the Gaul and Mathura districts.
අපේ හිතේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න කියා ගන්න කෙනෙක් නැතුව හිටියේ. ඒතරම ගම්මැද්ද වැඩසටහන තවලමට ඇවිල්ලා අපේ හිතේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න මේ අහලා හිතේ අර තිබිච්ච බරගතිය අඩුවීමක් වුණා.
Locals of the Thavalama village gathered at the Ashokaramaya to voice their woes and daily struggles on a platform set for those gone unheard.
පසුගිය 2017 ගම් වතුරෙන් අපිට සති ගාණක් මාස ගාණක් වතුර බොන්න බැරි වුණා. ඒ කියන්නේ ලිං ගම් වතුරට යට වෙලා පවිත්‍ර වෙලා අන්තිම පිරිසුදු කරගන්න අපිට කරන්ට් එක නැහැ, මෝටර් නැහැ. අන්නේ දුෂ්කරතාව වලට අපිට මුණ පාන සිද්ධ වුණා.
තවලම ටවුන් එක තියෙන්නේ. එතන පොදු වැසිකිළියක් නැහැ. ඇත්තටම අපි ගොඩාක් අපහසුතාවයට පත් වෙනවා. දේශපාලඥයෝ ඕව බලනවද කියන්න දන්නේත් නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඉතින් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැනේ. ඇත්තටම අපිට හරි දුකයි.
Following the Gammadda village forum, our Gammadda team met with the locals in the Thavalama town. Meanwhile, many were enthusiastic to be a part of the Siavasak Vanisiuvasak photo exhibition, recollecting 4 years of public service by Gammadda. An epistle was also signed by the general public today in order to highlight the main problems of the people, which were identified after an analysis of information gathered by Gammadda and the University of Peramuna. Many youth are joining the Gammadda V-Force teams. The second Gammadda Village Forum took place this evening in Akurasa. A large crowd had gathered to present their hardships.
We'll be back after this quick break.
In sports news, a forensic audit on Sri Lanka cricket revealed benefits were given to the head coach of Sri Lanka cricket, going beyond the expectations of the head coach.
The audit observations revealed when recruiting Chandika Hathurusinghe as the head coach, the executive committee had not given proper approval to the process. It adds that the agreement reached was not submitted to the legal department of SLC, while the matter was not investigated in the proper manner. As per the third paragraph of the agreement between head coach and the SLC, $20,000 had been paid as air travel allowances on an annual basis. Accordingly, during the period between the 1st of January 2018 and the 30th of June 2019, the head coach was paid a total allowance of ₹4,415,901 rupees. The observations further reveal the SLC had failed to pay ₹1,059,810 as pay-as-you-earn taxes charged on additional income earned by the coaches. The SLC has also paid ₹130,000 to the cricket coach for the vehicle that was given to him on a monthly lease basis. Fuel charges for this vehicle was also paid by the SLC. Accordingly, non-monetary benefits worth ₹630,000 was not considered and incorporated during the tax calculation process, while the SLC had failed to pay ₹151,200 of taxes that should have been charged on the non-monetary benefits. The SLC had agreed to pay pay-as-you-earn taxes of ₹1,211,016 charged on an income of ₹5,045,901 on behalf of its head coach Hathurusinghe. The SLC is also due to pay further income tax of ₹382,439 to the Inland Revenue Department. The SLC had agreed to bore taxes amounting to ₹15,537,700 on behalf of Chandika Hathurusinghe, a commitment highlighted in the audit observations as a pointless liability that could have been invested in the development of SLC rather than in just one employee. The SLC had also agreed to pay consultancy fees of $360,000 over a period of 36 months to Hathurusinghe for the preparation of a report. This amount was paid semi-annually, even before the start of the second quarter, while audit observations have not revealed the reasons for this. Accordingly, the SLC had evaded taxes worth ₹2,804,465 that should have been paid to the Inland Revenue Department on behalf of Hathurusinghe. Should officials from such authorities who have committed financial crime not be arrested? Commissioner General of the Inland Revenue Department, for your attention.
Well, that's a look at your primetime news for today. More follows on our website, that is www.newsfirst.lk.
Thank you for joining us. Take care and God bless you.
Good night.